Like everyone is just so psyched. All I hear is people talking about the year of the fire horse. Everyone is so thrilled. Like, should we be?
I feel like we should because the year of the fire horse, it only happens every 60 years. And so because fire, the element symbolizes, passion, leadership, and also, risk. I feel like this year, especially 2026, we see a lot of people have healed from 2025, but also taking more of a risk in being like their best versions in taking something or doing something that they have never done before, but just taking that quantum leap of faith and also just being true to yourself. And so, the year of the fire horse is very symbolic to a lot of Asian cultures, but I think a lot of us have been feeling this sense of passion, this sense of takeover.
And that's what I love. Like, I mean, we've spoken and we're both very much into the spiritual realms. And I think,
Yeah.
we do that through deep self-knowledge and connection through self. And I love it that exactly like you just said, people from different cultures are now actually seeing how aligned all the cultural expressions of energy and spirituality is. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's interesting that it's also funny that we're both wearing red, and red is also red is a symbolic color for Chinese culture as well as other Asian cultures because if you think of color theory, red is like love, passion, good luck, and I think it's nice that we're starting off with the year of fire horse just wearing red.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to take red off. I've decided like this year the fire horse needs to be all the things. But so I mean, is this how you tapped into the more, I guess, Chinese expression of astrology, like through your personal culture? I mean, you're coming to us from New York, so people will hear
Yes.
that in your accent, but in terms of how you use the wisdom of this very ancient tradition, is that how you got into it?
Yeah, because I my family they weren't big on astrology, specifically Chinese astrology, but it's always been talked about there. As well as when it's Lunar New Year, we see celebrations of red lanterns. We see a specific zodiac animal. This year's going to be horse, or there's going to be symbolisms of horse. And we as well get together to just have dinner to just celebrate the togetherness, the family, and the friendship. And so, yeah, it's been a big part of my culture. And somehow I've been seeing a lot of trends lately regarding to China. That could be the Lunar New Year, that could be fashion, but as well as just overall wellness because TCM is a big part in the Chinese culture as well as other Asian and non-Asian cultures because I feel like 2026 too is about taking care of our health.
Okay. Yeah, that's so true. Like my For You feed is a lot of TCM and a lot of more information, I guess, is just being disseminated and shared. And how amazing, how good, because this is like ancient practices. So, I
Hmm.
think obviously we've been in the year of the snake.
Yes.
Do I feel like I've shedded or I've been shredded? I'm like, I'm kind of done. Like, what element was the year of the snake in? I actually don't even know.
I believe it was water.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of people were like saying like, I shed so much last year. It was a tough year. And it's funny because snake, they shed the layers of skin and it's about renewal, reborn. It's not a bad thing
Mm.
too, because I believe in balances of energy. We have a feminine and masculine energies within us, and it's all about bringing that balance back to unity. And that's what Chinese astrology teaches you is the yin yang, the balance of the feminine and masculine energy. It's just, focusing on healing the bad or the negative aspect, but also overcoming it to feel good.
So, having, just completed this year of the snake,
Hmm.
we are, I mean, I'm assuming this energy is just going to feel different in that contrast, that yin and that yang.
Yeah, I specifically feel a very different energy from the horse, excuse me, from the snake to the horse. It's just because I feel like 2025 may have been a difficult year for some people, whoever's listening to this. And, I think 2026 people are just done with like the BS that
Yeah.
2025 gave to them. I don't know if you've been feeling the same way, Kirsten, because I personally feel like there's a lot of passion in my life and just like trying new things and just not, just taking a step forward into my life.
I definitely feel a renewed sense of enthusiasm because the last few
Yes.
just have been a slog. And a couple of weeks ago, people would have heard on the podcast listening to a numerologist talking about it's a 1 year cycle. And so that shedding of the skin, that wrapping up of cycles, and in Western astrology, having Neptune move into Aries for a
Mm-hmm.
whole new like I mean, we haven't been here since the 1800s for a whole new cycle. Like, so I'm feeling like not new as in like my life is new, like I'm going to change relationship or I'm going to change business or whatever. But I feel a renewed sense for what it is I authentically love and want to amplify. That's kind of how where I'm at.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful way to express your energy too. And I also want to go back to that. You mentioned numerology one is because we're in 2026 is numerology one
Yeah.
or 1 plus 0 or 10, some people see it. And Year of the Snake was numerology nine. So it's about completion of that old cycles, heading into a new cycle.
See, even though like these spiritual interpretations of energy have gotten different images, words, this concept is the same. I absolutely
Yeah,
love it. I love people when they say like all this woo-woo stuff. I'm like, it it's
it's not.
lasted centuries and it's all saying the same thing. Like, come now. So talk to us. Okay,
Yeah.
break it down. Year of the horse. What is the horse? What's the year got in store? What's the vibe? What can we expect?
Yeah, so if we think of the symbolism of the horse, the animal, they're quick, they can be witty, they're fast. And I somehow when I made that TikTok post, there were so many references to Beyonce song. And it was really interesting to see the correlation. But if you think of an animal, the horse, they're quick, they're fast, they take long leap or quick leaps as a way of saying that they're not afraid to take risk. And that's the energy that I mentioned before. There's a lot of passion, leadership, and taking that jump into that surviving mode, but also looking it back into a way that, are you going to think before you act, or are you going to act in a rush? So that's the energy that I feel with the Year of the Horse and what the horse symbolized to me. And if we look back into numerology number one, it's all about renewals, ending the old cycles for a new beginning. And one symbolizes, to me, it symbolizes beginnings. It's that chapter of doing something for yourself that you have been waiting for so long.
Talk to me about the elements. So we obviously know in TCM and in a lot of other modalities, elements
Mm-hmm.
play a big part. So the four elements, could you give us a quick run through what each of those energy flows really contain and therefore how that pertains to a fire horse in particular?
Yes, so Chinese astrology has actually five elements. So
Oh,
it's
five.
water.
Sorry. I thought there
Yeah,
was four.
that's okay. So it's we know as water, fire, earth, air, and metal. Metal is the fifth
Ah,
element. Yeah, so just a quick breakdown. Fire is about passion, leadership, and just think of like the fire energy in Western astrology. There it's kind of like that symbolism of just being, quick, just taking a lot of action. Air is the same thing with Western astrology. Air can be passive, they can be independent, they can flow with the wind, and they're more like they're in between, like the left versus right. It's all about finding a balance in between. Water, the same thing with, Western astrology is just going with the flow as well, but also being very intuitive, maybe even cautious. And earth, like the earth element in Western astrology, grounding, rooted. And the metal, which is, the fifth element, is it's like a combination of all the four, but it's kind of like taking into the higher ether.
okay. So when the Chinese astrology wheel goes round, is there like a metal horse here as well?
I'm not very sure about that, just because I feel like each year it depends on the element. So this yeah, last year was water snake, this year is fire horse. And next year, I'm not very sure, but it depends on the element and the animal itself.
Okay, so then to use this fire energy, I feel like there is a lot of potential for us to get burnt.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a great point because, fire is not just about passion, but it's also about feeling the burnout. And within Chinese astrology, there's always going to be balances, the positive, the negative, the yin and yang, and there's always going to be holdbacks if of the things that you want to pursue. Let's say if there's like let's say that I want to pursue a new job, the fire in me is just applying for jobs, networking, and getting those interviews. But the downside is that I could feel the burnout. I could like, create these mindsets that I'm not doing anything correctly and things like that. And so it's all about finding a balance, no matter how much hardship one goes through, we can always overcome through that.
So to be, I guess, to be aware this year of where you may be over investing or wanting to go too quick. And as a result of that, you're likely burning your own bridges with yourself, with others, or so forth.
Yeah, I think that could be a better example. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
so then when we look at the positive side, I don't like to say positive, but I guess the illuminated side of a fire
Hmm.
horse, how would you advise people to take this energy and to really harness it in the most effective way, given that it is like the beginning? It is, we're navigating so much new. And I feel like sometimes when you dive into something new, you can dive into it with so much enthusiasm that you
Yeah.
completely do it all wrong. So, like, what is the best way, given that we've done so much shedding and we've been sitting in that water, intuitive, deep energy, and now we're in that action, like that Mars energy. So, what's the
Hmm.
best way to cultivate it, use it?
Yeah, I think for me, what I like to, tell like the people that come ask me this question is just first, like, ask your body, ask your nervous system, like, does it calm you or does it make you nervous? Because I realize within, learning about my own spiritual path is that the body is the first place to respond, then the mind comes second, if this makes sense. And
Yeah.
so the first thing is just you have to tune in. You have to check in with yourself. That could be anything, like it could be meditation, walking, journaling, tune in with that inner center, your heart chakra, into understanding if that what if whatever you are trying to do is bringing in this excitement, this calmness, or is it bringing you a sense of guilt, burnout, or just exhaustion?
So we're obviously susceptible, therefore, I would say that doing things and taking action from shame, because
Mm-hmm.
it's so nervous system coded shame, right? So,
Yeah.
discerning between, am I choosing to light this on fire, to pour my passion into this because I haven't done it, or I'm judging myself for it, or because it's genuinely aligned with joy, with fulfillment and purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. I think no, I think it comes down to just asking yourself questions. I mean, because at the end of the day, you can consume so much of these research or just be interested in this, but you have to check in with yourself. Does it align with you, like you said? Does it, bring you joy? Does it bring you pain?
When I think about the horse, um, I kind of also feel like a lot of strength, but a lot of stubbornness. Is that part
Yeah.
of the trope?
I think that is because I've seen horses, but I never ridden a horse, but I've seen like videos of horses and
Mm.
some of them can be stubborn. So I think that's a good trait that what horses can symbolize to you is being stubborn, but also being quick, taking those leaps. And I feel like, yeah, I think that's a great explanation.
So don't, like, I love this. So the way I'm interpreting it is, don't think, feel into the decision. And if it feels aligned, quickly act. Like, don't allow space for the mind to come in and doubt and derail you. Just be like, does it feel good? Yes, do.
Yeah. I think that's great. Yeah, that's actually makes perfect sense too. If, if that's how you resonate, then it makes sense why, some people feel this way as we move towards the year of the horse, is because sometimes we, miss an opportunity, but it's just right there. And so
Yeah.
why not just take that, right? And so that's why the energy of the year of the horse is just taking that leap of faith, but also not being afraid of challenges.
Do you think that collectively, like what is expected? What are we expected to see? Like, we are in our own personal dream and our own personal lives, but, does this view of astrology speak to a collective shift as well, or a collective shift in even in focus or approach?
I feel like it does give us a new approach into the way we're living. Like, for example, there's so much tension in
Mm,
regards to the news in the US,
yeah.
between like Israel and Palestine.
Mm,
So if we think about like the ongoing wars around the world, it's a shift that people are speaking up. It's a
yeah.
shift that people want change. I feel that as collectively we want change. We are speaking up. We're fighting back, but there's going to be pushbacks from like the people in the higher ups, the government, let's say, and that's just gonna, there's just so much tensions. I don't know the best way to describe it, but as people are speaking up from their hearts, from their voice, it allows us to open the space to approach new things. And I remember you mentioned about the Neptune Aries. I saw a post today about how we're shifting to that, and
Yeah.
it correlates with, Chinese astrology too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just the shifts of energy. It's just, because I just saw this post on Instagram too, and it's just like so much tension going on,
Yeah.
but people are finally seeing the truth of it.
For sure. And also seeing how people are trying to manipulate us,
Yes.
their truth, their self-serving truth, but we're moving into that collective. No, we want what's good for everybody. So I also see the horse as like cantering down a beach, but
Mm-hmm.
might be going so fast, but a horse is able to stop like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's almost like trying new things, leaps of faith, like you're talking about, but also trusting your ability to stop when you realize, oh,
Yes.
wait, not the right direction, not the right choice. We can stop and then turn around and run another direction if, we feel called to. And I think, we don't give ourselves enough permission honestly to change direction, to change our minds. But hopefully this fire energy will help us do that.
Yeah, I hope it will. I hope that, it can allow people to just take that chance to just not think too much, not allow the egoic thoughts to come through, but just go with the intuition, go trust your discernment, like you said before. But also, thinking about horses now is that horses, they listen to their body, they listen to their surroundings. Yeah, so they know when to stop.
That's so true. So unless we are in tune with our own physicality, with our own intuition, then we,
Right.
we may burn things out. But if we trust ourselves in that, then we are going to be fine to pivot when required.
Yep,
So,
that's
so
it.
people are born obviously in different years. So will the fire
hmm
horse year affect people's own personal astrology differently?
Yes. So because the year of the horse starts on February 17th, so if you're born on February 17th and afterwards until February 6th, I believe, of 2027, then you're considered a horse or fire horse specifically. But if you were born before February 17th, you are considered the year of the snake or other zodiacs,
Mhm.
specifically. Yeah, so each zodiac animal, will have a different effect on the fire horse. So for example, I'm a tiger,
Okay.
and tiger complements the horse. Because the tigers and the horses, you may not see that they get along because they're not together. They're not. You want to think that those animals are together, but for some reason, according to Chinese astrology, there's a lot of complements to each other.
I think I'm a rooster. So I'm not sure a rooster and a horse get on.
I will have to look back because there's like 12 animals, and
I
I
know,
remember
I know.
people
I put you
asking
on the
me,
spot.
yeah, I remember people asking me like, "What am I this and this?" And I just like to tell them, even if like the rooster, let's say, may not have the best alignment with the horse, don't let that discourage you from just
Yeah.
living the best year of your life. Because at the end of the day, it's your choice to how you want to move forward, to how you want to learn and build your best life.
You spoke about Chinese New Year before, and that is the official start of the year of the fire horse. And obviously, there's a lot of cultural elements to that and celebrations and rituals around that. But is there anything maybe that you could share or invite us as a collective to maybe partake in on the 17th? Obviously, it's a lunar time, so people will be
Yeah.
working with the moon if you're working with me. But is there anything that, people may do to celebrate the start of a new year that we maybe can adopt and like tap into the energy of that?
Yeah, I mean, if you have friends that are of Chinese descent or that celebrate, I think definitely, celebrate with them and maybe go out to eat. That's a big part of Chinese culture, is just
Yeah.
eating, getting together. For my family, we don't do anything big. It's just getting together and eat. So if they invite you to just have dinner or lunch, I think, see if you can, because I think partly it's because I feel like it's such a nice way for them to invite a friend, especially if you guys haven't caught up in a long time. So yeah, celebrating with friends or family, if there are like dragons
Yeah.
dancing or yeah, I know in Australia there's like a
Yes.
community that does
Yeah,
that.
huge.
So if
Yeah.
if you yeah, if you anyone's interested in that, definitely join, be with the festivities, be with the happenings that surround it during that day. And yeah, I know sometimes people receive red envelopes,
Mm.
which is just money.
Yeah, it's
That's
great.
the
I'm
thing.
more than happy for a red envelope.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want money? So yeah, so I think something as simple as just being together to celebrate is enough for the Lunar New Year. Yeah.
And in the year of the horse, is it wise or is it a nice moment to kind of reflect on setting an intention around how to cultivate this fire and how to embody that energy of excitement and passion of the horse?
Yeah, I think personally, I know that, I like to wear red, for just on the day of it, just because red is a symbolic color for a lot, for the Chinese culture. So I think with just one red just brings that energy of good luck, protection, and, you know, spreading abundance. So that's a ritual that I like to do personally. But however, whatever ritual that you feel called upon, that could be, you know, taking time to journal and to meditate on what you're feeling and what you want to bring into this new year. Some people like to do candle spells in regards to, bringing in more love, abundance, or whatever you are trying to bring forth to this year.
Give us last tips on what's your insider intuition telling us about the best way to embody, harness, and use this year of the energy of the fire horse.
So personally, what I feel that's, my intuition telling me, what I feel that calls upon me is just not to be afraid to do things that you've been called to do. That could be, maybe if you want to, let's say, travel to a new place, go for it. If you want to do rock climbing, go for it. Don't hold back on what you are called or you feel this passion calling you to do. And just go for it. Don't be afraid to take that risk. Don't be afraid to say no. Because for me, I sometimes find a hard time saying no. So it's just like a personal goal. It's just like not being afraid to hear rejections because it's a redirection. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah, and
interesting. I
just
didn't think of the no coming at me. I thought of the no as like an internal thing, but potentially, yeah, could that be highlighted this year?
yeah, it's funny because I saw it could be an internal direction too. I seen some people making, sending out different pitches to like brands, for example. And if they hear five no's, that's a sign that it's leading to a yes. So just that kind of practice of accepting hearing no's because it's not the end of the world. Or even if you go on a date and they
Mm,
say no to you, right? It's not the end of the world. It's just something that you have to learn in life, that it's just a part of a redirection that the universe is putting it through. And so that's what I feel for 2026, the year of the fire horse, especially, is that just to take that chances that you've missed in the past, but don't miss it this time because you never know what kind of these opportunities may come again.
Don't hold back because every
Don't hold
no
back.
is closer to that important yes and that aligned yes. I love that. Well, I'm so ready for this year. I'm ready to enjoy playing with this more expressive, expansive energy. And thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. Obviously, you can connect with Helen, go down to the show notes. All her links are there. But thank you so much for sharing not just your gift with us, but your culture. I think that that's really special. And to me, it's just highlighted how one we all really are.
Thank you so much, Kirsten, for having me here. And I'm excited that so many people are interested in astrology, Chinese astrology, and are excited for the year of the horse.